好，欢迎收看最新一期的子天访谈录 SD Talk Show， 我是子天 Sky 董 ，Welcome to SD Talk Show. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Sky. It's been a while.
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah, recently I always do by myself for the show. Yeah, I want to interview a lot of the celebrity.
I know, she's very passionate about what she does. But anyway, a topic that you and I share common is education.
Yeah, today we have a education celebrity.
Yes, that is, so we are very honored to have a good public servant, but more importantly, like the comment that you made, he doesn't look like a politician, he looks like a good friend. So with that, I'd like to introduce to you our audience, Mr. Jim Rice, who is the Fort Bend ISD trustee, position 3. Would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes. Well, first I want to thank you, Danny, and thank you, Sky, for your kind invitation to have me here today. I'm very honored to be here. I know you're busy, and making time for me means a lot to me. Thank you. Yes, I'm Jim Rice. I've been serving on the board since 2010, and you and I have known each other a long time, Danny, in the past when we campaigned together, running for different offices, but I think we learned a lot from that experience.
Right.
Mainly, when you get elected, that's when the real work begins. You have a lot of hard work to do, roll up your sleeves, work with your colleagues on the city council or the school board, and work together to make things happen for your constituents. So I've been honored to have been elected 4 times to Fort Bend ISD. Many trustees have come and gone during that period of time.
Yes.
And I'm running one more time, Danny.
Right.
This will be my 5th term, and that's because we have a very young board. We have 3 trustees who are good people, but they only have 18 months.
Right.
2 trustees have 12 months experience, and 1 in May will be brand new. So I'm the senior trustee in terms of tenure and age, and looking to be reelected and work with my colleagues to support Dr. Christy Whitbeck, who is our new superintendent.
Right.
She's only been here 6 months.
Right.
And too much change is not good at this time.
Right.
So I want to work with them to help make sure she has a good foundation.
Right.
To continue moving the district forward and continue to educate our kids. Fort Bend ISD is a great school district. The whole area has grown largely because of the school district. People are moving, into the area so their kids can go there. We need to keep that up. We need to continue to teach our children so they're learning well.
Right.
They're learning critical thinking so they can think for themselves. And we want them to have a good education, graduate from high school, and go into college or trade school or the military, get out, they get a good paying job that allows them to get married, buy a house, raise a family. Along the way, obey the law, support their community, do all the right things, develop good habits.
Okay.
I think the proudest moment in a parent's life is looking forward to attending a birthday party for a grandchild in their grown son's or daughter's home. Means a lot to everyone, and that starts with getting a good education.
Right. Well, 11 years serving on the school board is a long time. I know that is a very challenging position. I mean, you're dealing with so many people in such a highly diverse populations, and people have different opinions, different ideas, and you've been pulled over all different directions. I mean, how would you maintain your calm, your cool, your collectiveness, and continue to serve?
Well, that's a great question, Danny.
Have you had enough of it? I mean, in a blunt way, 11 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming to the end, Danny, but I need to do it one more time. But here's what I've learned from doing that. At the end of the day, wherever somebody's come from, whatever their race, their religion, their culture, we're all still human beings.
Yeah.
And parents, all parents want the best for their children. All parents want to feed their children when they're hungry, clothe them, tend to them when they're sick, and all parents want to see their children become educated and grow up in the right way.
Right.
And that's the thing that unites us. And that's why I believe in public education, because America has always been a country of immigrants, always been that way. And that is our great strength, because we've always had an infusion of new people coming who bring energy, who bring vitality, who bring new ways of thinking. That makes us as a country stronger and better than if everybody was just the same.
Right.
So that is our great hope for the future. Public education, where children, when they go to school together, and our public schools are where the vast majority of all school children in this country will be educated. They learn to be friends. They learn to be friends. They're going to do projects together. They're going to do sports. They're going to do fine arts. All of that together, and they will become friends, and gradually over time, then that's how we're going to erase prejudice. That's how we're going to level the playing field. That's why I believe in public education.
Are you happy with the progress?
Well, there's always more progress. You always have to be aiming ahead, and you know, not going to achieve everything in my lifetime, but if we can keep going forward in the right direction, we have to keep trying. And it's hard. Sometimes you take 2 steps forward and take a step back, but you have to keep trying. You can't give up. We have to keep going forward. I'm not happy with the progress, but we have to keep trying.
You have anything to add to that, Sky?
Yeah, and I know the education for a family, for a country, it's most important. It's a foundation. So also it's really hard to do it. So why you want to choose your career being part of the education?
Well, I was thinking about running for the school board in 2005, and I met a friend of mine, Sonal Butcher. I don't know if you remember her. And
she left a legacy.
Yes. She was going to run the same time.
Yeah.
And we all met, and I decided at that time Sonal had a better chance of being elected than I did, and so I didn't run.
Right,
I didn't
right.
want to run against her.
Right.
And then I didn't run. I forgot all about it. And then 5 years later, another friend of mine on the board, Bob Broxson, called me up and said, "Jim, you need to run for the school board."
Yep.
I said, "What? Why? He said, "I'm not running." So he didn't run, and then I ran. I got elected, and Sonal was my mentor the first year I was on the school board. And I saw her do so many things. She created the International Festival, where she was trying to bring all of our diverse population together in a festival atmosphere to share different food, different music, all of that, to raise awareness in the community of how fortunate we are to have this rich, diverse culture.
Right.
And I'll never forget her, because when I ran in 2019, unfortunately, Sonal was at home dying of cancer.
Yeah.
And she had a mail-in ballot delivered to her, so she could vote for me.
Right.
So it's people like her that inspire me to do what I do.
Yeah. I know you can be emotional about that, but she left a legacy, Jim. I mean,
She left a legacy, yes.
Yes, she set path for many other people to walk on. So I think you make her proud. I mean, you've done your job, you do it well, and you stick to the end. I admire the fact that it's not because you want to hang on into another terms. I know you, Jim. I mean, you don't need name, fame, and powers and anything like that. I know, because I know you personally. And the fact that you decided to stick to another terms because you feel like it's unfinished. People know that. So I think that is very noble thing to do, Jim. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So you came to Fort Bend in 1981 when Sugar Land. I remember Clement High School. I attended Clement High School in 1984. It's in the middle of nowhere. Tell us about the Sugar Land in Fort Bend at that time.
Oh my goodness. My wife and I got here, there wasn't even a McDonald's. The McDonald's on Highway 6, it wasn't there. And no grocery store. We were going to shop at Gerland's there in Sugar Creek.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, we got here and it was growing then, but it never stopped.
Right.
It kept growing and it's continued to grow.
Too much, too fast.
Oh, it's a lot. And Texas is growing, you know.
Yeah.
Texas picked up 2 congressional seats, and an interesting fact is that Texas is educating 10% of all the school children in America. They're educated here in Texas.
10% of the whole nation?
Yes.
Oh, that's very high ratio.
56 million children.
Wow.
I mean, 5.6 million, there's 56 million children going to school. Only California has more. So the total number of school children is greater than the population of Louisiana, the whole population of that state, or New Mexico, our surrounding states. We have a lot. So it's a huge responsibility in Texas to make sure these kids get a great education. And we want them to grow up prepared to take their rightful place in our community as husbands and wives and fathers and mothers.
Right. What do you think, Sky?
Yeah, I know the Katy, even Sugar Land, it's really top. Like Texas, maybe top 10, the ISD, yeah, for the Fort Bend. And you also been doing this for many years. So for the future, if people vote for you, elect for you, so you think which part you can do better, improve, and what's your 5 priority?
Well, my priorities are to work with my colleagues. Number one, I work with a lot of trustees over the years, and if you want to make a difference in the classroom as a trustee, then you have to learn how to do it. If you want to be a volunteer in the classroom, that's one thing. But if you're a trustee, you're on the side of governance, and of course, Danny, you understand this. You're a city council member. You have to learn how to do it, and you have to get training, and you have to realize the people that are making a lot of noise and headlines in the media, they're not working. They're not working with their colleagues. They're just making noise. The people who are working they're quiet. They've rolled up their sleeves. They're working to build understanding and trust and communicate with 6 other trustees and the superintendent. So there's 7 trustees and the superintendent. We call it the team of 8. Team of 8. If the team of 8's not functioning, then it has a negative impact on children. So that's my goal, is to continue working with my colleagues so that we have a high-functioning team. You know, I learned in Boy Scouts a long time ago, there's like 4 phases of a team. And it's number 1, you're forming. Number 2, you're storming. Norming and performing. You know it. Yeah.
Yes, it's a process.
It's a process.
You know, a lot of people, they claim that, I mean, they are young, they're smart, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, wisdom and experience just come with age. You just get through the process. I mean, all the craziness, getting to know each other, have a conflicts, and set a common rules and norms, and finally. So I think that reflects our society pretty well in Fort Bend. So what do you think about the composition of the population right now compared to 1981?
Oh,
and what kind of challenge
different.
what kind of challenge does it present?
Well, the challenge that it presents is to make sure everybody understands someone else. And to do that, you have to be a good listener.
Yes.
You have to listen first. Listen and learn and understand. So because we're elected by position, so everybody who resides within Fort Bend ISD they vote for everybody. It's just that we elect a person on the west side and a person on the east side every year, and every third year there's one at large, but we're really all at large. So because of that, I have always campaigned all around, not just in Sugar Land, in Missouri City. I've been to Willow Ridge, Blue Ridge Elementary, Clemens High School, Fort Settlement. All of these schools are very, very...
This is such a huge coverage.
It is.
How many small...
It's 135 square miles.
Wow,
It's
that's huge.
And it's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
But if you do that, and you can't do it overnight, it takes time because, you know, we have 90 schools, and, you know, you couldn't go to one a week. If you went to one a week, you still wouldn't get done in 52 weeks. But that's how we have to do it, yes. And our population is very diverse. It's about 26-27% Asian, about 26% Hispanic, 14% Anglo, and the
14, 1-4?
1-4.
Gosh.
And the balance is African American. So we have a very, very dispersed and demographic, very, very. The word just went out of my mind. Was what you said, Danny. It's very diverse, very diverse, and is that a good thing? Yes, because it means you have to work with people. We have to reach across the aisle and work with people to get things done. And I think that's important to do.
I know you not just care about the children, kids, you also care about the teacher. I look at it here, you say you want to support the teacher pay raises.
Well, the teachers are the ones, they're the front lines.
Yeah.
They're the ones teaching the kids. And when I've had occasions to talk to them, I tell them, you know, I'm a trustee. You think it's a big deal. It's really not, because none of the students in this school district are going to even remember. They don't even know who I am, but they know who you are. And those children will remember their teachers long after they're grown up. We all have a favorite teacher that we remember. So they're on the front line. And the kids have come back from COVID. A lot of them are struggling. There's a lot of mental health issues right now, stress, and they're stressed out. So we need to listen to the teachers and understand what their needs are. And they know how to get the kids caught up. The teachers know how. I don't know how. The teachers know how. So I have to listen to them.
Right.
And then, yes, we have to support them. And we know Texas is growing. All of our neighboring school districts are growing too. They're trying to hire the same number of teachers that we are. So it's a competition to hire. We have to pay a good wage, or they're going to go down the road, just like in business.
Right. So with the low pay and the work environment become unsafe, and especially, I mean, the level of unappreciation for teachers so high. So what can be done to really motivate people to choose teaching as a career? I mean, that compared to other options.
We have, I would say, next to healthcare, education is the most regulated industry in the country. Too many regulations. We've got to keep the kids safe. We've got to teach the kids. We didn't have a lot of this when I was growing up. How did I make it? I don't know. How did you make it? You did, right? And so we've got to, the one challenge that we have is STAR accountability. So that's our STAR test. We've always had testing. We need to have testing. We need to know where the teachers are. I mean, where the students are. But a test should not be used to judge and then label student performance, because it's one day. Boom.
Yeah.
If they had a bad night that night, or
it's not an accurate measurement.
It's not an accurate measurement. So that's what I wish we could change is, you know, because that's why teachers are leaving, because they're afraid if their children don't do well, they're going to be in trouble because they're a bad teacher. It's not necessarily so.
Yeah.
So we've tried to create an alternative measuring stick.
Right.
You need to use the right measuring stick to know how you're doing. And STAR is not exactly it. So
It's got to be more comprehensive, right?
More comprehensive.
Yeah, it's got to be.
The culture and climate, yeah.
Yeah, so misleading. You know, COVID had presented so many challenges to the school board. So what had been a few things that you done differently? How did you handle the situations? I remember that you guys decided to give out iPad to students with having a budget. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, when COVID hit in 2020, it was right before spring break or during spring break.
I do remember.
And
April,
we had a conference call with our superintendent, and he said, well, kids aren't coming back to school. And I said, oh, really? How long are they going to be out? A couple of days? No, Jim. Rest of the year. What? That's crazy. How are they going to learn?
Yeah.
So we had to immediately go to online instruction. And not every student had a computer at home.
Right.
Or internet access. So we had to hand out iPads and hotspots so they could log on and learn. And we didn't know if we were going to get reimbursed for that or not. But that's leadership, when you step forward to do the right thing, to take care of, what do? We educate kids, so we've got to take care of kids, number one. Number two, take care of teachers. And ultimately, we did get reimbursed for that. That was millions of dollars, as you can imagine.
Wow.
And but what we learned from that is the online instruction, it did not work. Because the teachers, especially if the teachers had their own children, now their own children are at home, they're trying to teach, their kids are supposed to be online too, learning, and they're trying to take care of them at the same time. It didn't work. Okay. So that's one thing we learned. And there was a COVID slide because of it. So now we're working to provide more help to the students that need it, to get them caught up to where they need to be.
Right. You said earlier, in order to be successful, you know, we have to collaborate. You know, teachers, board of trustees, parents, and you know, our show is about small business. So we have a lot of small business. So Fort Bend School District is also purchasers. So for those who are interested in doing business with the school Fort Bend, is there vehicles or means?
Yes.
How can they tap into that? To be a supplier, to be a vendors?
We have a small business program.
Yes.
And so every so often we'll have like a small business fair.
Yes.
Where people come in, so they can come in and get registered with the district.
Yes.
And the most important thing is to get their email address with the procurement department, so they're getting notifications of things that are coming up. But at the fair, the vendors come in and they learn this is how the school district works.
Right.
We have to issue RFPs.
Right. There's a procedure you have to follow.
It's a procedure, and you learn the procedure, and then you learn, you do the work, you submit the invoice, then you're going to get paid. How long does that take? You know, because it's a big organization.
So you have a workshop. So when will the next one be?
I'll find out for you, Danny, and let you know.
I think it's important. You know, it's just important to inform our audience.
Yeah.
You know, even a city, a county, or an airport, you know, they are interdependent, if you will, right?
Yes, they're interdependent.
Interdependent. I mean, we rely on each other. Because if the parent do well, the business community do well, then I mean, in return. So we hopefully in the future we can inform our audience when will be the workshop is, so they have a chance. You know,
And what I would really like for us to do, we haven't been doing it that well, is to, when we publish an advertisement in the newspaper, we should also publish it in Chinese newspapers, Vietnamese, Hispanic, so everybody's seeing it and the language they're used to seeing it.
Right.
That makes them more aware and tuned in to what's going on, and we're going to get better participation.
Right. That's good. I think we got a few minutes left, so for those who do not know you personally, Jim, I mean, what do you want to tell them about you as a person?
Yeah.
I mean, why they elected you for another terms? Would you tell them?
Yes. Well, I would just say I've spent a lot of time volunteering in Fort Bend County at my church, with the Boy Scouts, and with the Literacy Council, with Fort Bend Cares, and the Fort Bend Chamber of Commerce, and now Fort Bend ISD. And what I used to tell the Scouts when I was working with them, I would ask them, do you want to be an Eagle Scout? Yes. Why do you want to be an Eagle Scout? Well, it's going to look good on my resume. It's going to help me get a job. I said, oh, okay. So you think a prospective employer or a college wants to hire a young man who's smart? Yeah. Hardworking? Yes. Ambitious? Yes. And untrustworthy? Wait, what was the last one? Untrustworthy? No. So you're saying the one quality of being untrustworthy negates the other positive qualities? Yeah, I guess so. So that's why it's the first point of the Scout Law. So I do my best to be trustworthy. We have to start, anybody has to start with their character, the foundation of who they are, to do whatever they're doing. So I believe that I'm serving Fort Bend ISD to the best of my ability in an honest way, working with my fellow colleagues to better our school district, continue to provide education to our children who deserve a great education. And in that way, we give back to society. When those children grow up and they graduate, that's the one reason you want to be a trustee, is to watch them walk across the stage, hand them their diploma and shake their hand. And so many good things, positive things come from receiving a quality education. And that's what I want to contribute. I want to do my best to leave a good legacy. And I hope that I humbly ask for your vote and your support and help me move Fort Bend ISD forward. Thank you. And thank you, Danny.
Yes, I've known you for several years, and I can testify to that. And you have a very good support in Missouri City, too. A lot of people, but somebody that we mutually know, former Mayor Alan Owen, big fan of yours and many, because they see your work. You know, getting elected is easy. Not easy, but, you know, people jump for joy. You know, when they get elected, you're not winning a lottery or anything like that, you know. I just basically, you just get a license to start working your butt up, you know.
Yes.
It's not about getting elected and then you become famous and you get a lot of, you get pay and all that. But I mean, the fact that, I mean, people know you, and more importantly, your performance. So I hope you will give your last best effort and energy, you know, to serve us for another terms.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you very much, and I really appreciate your taking time to have me on the show. And
Jim, can you pronounce it? Mr. Jim Rice.
Yeah, Jim Rice.
Fort Bend School Independent School District, Trustee Position 3. How do you say that in Chinese?
Yeah, I also talk about some Mandarin to our audience.
Yes.
So, 请观众朋友、美南新闻的观众朋友们，大家也去投票 Jim Rice Fort Bend ISD Trustee Precinct 3 Early Voting 4月25号2022年和最终到5月3号2022年 Election Day 5月7号2022年，请投您宝贵的一票。
May 7.
Yeah, 5月7号。
You said that. Okay. And next time we make sure that Jim can speak Chinese, so he can do it. Maybe at the end of next term.
You can say 谢谢。
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add before we end?
I think you are good. I learned a lot of things from you today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Best of luck to you and your family. And
thank you, Danny.
Appreciate you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 这就是今天的子天访谈录。I see you next week.